This is the end, my only friend. The end. This is the end. Do do do. My only friend. The end. Here I lay in Clinton, Missouri, thinking back years ago. The Army, 1983, 84. No decapitated heads, no crispy critters, no mutilated villagers, dead babies, didn't burn down a hut, never set up an ambush. No, it was peacetime. I've been telling some stories, format it to this YouTube thing. Why write a book when I can just do this? How about the beginning here? As I lay here, remembering the stories, the enemies of the United States, they get stronger and stronger and stronger. And all I'm left is with memories of the past to share the ghost of the Huey helicopters with you. So how about the beginning, man? Spoofing Apocalypse Now, where the fucking Martin Sheen's flipping the fuck out in his bedroom. This is the end. Do. So yeah, I was just laying here thinking, man, that's cool as fuck. So there's Supreme. Don't this cat look like Kim Jong-un from North Korea? He is Supreme Leader. He's running for president, by the way. So let's get up off my ass here. And let's do this for fucking right. How about that? I was just laying there on the floor thinking, man, that'd be cool as fuck to spoof Apocalypse Now. I got a couple Huey stories. Hell yeah, we all know about that UH1H high in the sky, the fucking Huey, man. That was the Vietnam helicopter. And that was the helicopter still in use when I was still in. That Crash Hawk / Black Hawk was slowly coming into service when I was in 1984. And I got to fly in a few of those, and nothing like that slick, the Huey and shit. And there's a place in the Huey called the Hellhole. And the Hellhole is where the door gunner used to sit. And it's probably the best space in the whole fucking Huey. I had a lot of neat experiences in the Huey. Thank God it never crashed while I was in one. Nothing like being over 1,000 feet in the sky, both doors open over a fucking lake on a hot July day in Alabama. Having all that air and shit flying around now. I'd seen a few Hueys. They'd been on the post on their side. They'd had a few accidents. In fact, right after I got home in 1985, maybe 2-3 weeks after I got home, some people got killed at Fort Rucker. Their helicopter magically fell out of the sky and wrecked. That shit happens all the fucking time. Mechanical malfunctions. Luckily, knock on wood, it didn't happen to me. So, I got a couple Huey stories, I think. Let me look at my notes here to try to jog my memory here. So, we were training these aviators at the helicopter. They have to go to a helicopter school, learn how to fly a helicopter. I think it's your warrant officer candidates and to go to helicopter school. And one thing that they wanted to teach these people were infantry skills in case they got shot down. They would know how to react like an infantry person was till they got rescued. So we were teaching them these needed skills to survive out in the bush in case they got shot down. So an LZ is a landing zone where it's a clearing where the helicopters come in, everybody dismounts and do their thing. So we set up an ambush. It was a beautiful landing zone. It was in a perfect fucking square, and it was just perfect. We had, I think it was called that Miles gear, where it goes beep, 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 beep if you get shot. This movie with Clint Eastwood back in the 80s, the Heartbreak Ridge, they had this Miles gear. They did an ambush, and everybody got lit up, and they're going beep, 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 beep. So we have all this beep beep gear on us, and it's the only thing I really ever remember about the beep beep gear. We only used it a couple times, but this was neat as fuck. So they tell us that these helicopters are going to land, these wop heads are going to get off, and we're going to shoot them all up, and hopefully we can kill them all before they get off the helicopter and none of us get hurt. So we're all kind of laying around this landing zone, and already everybody knows you're gonna fly into a hot LZ. This is a fucking ambush scenario. So they're coming in, and it's right over where I'm at. Me and my roommate and a couple other people, and they could see us. They're waving at us, and we're flipping them off. And I'm taking my rifle, and I'm looking right at the pilots. You know, there's this little bubble in a Huey, and you can see your pilot. He was dead meat. I could have shot this motherfucker up the helicopter. I'm sure they would have been shooting back at us, but, you know, this is peacetime. And like I'd said in a video before, if you're not fucking up in peacetime, you're not learning. You know, if you got to fuck up to learn. And thank God it's done during training. It's done during peacetime. So when it happens for real, you know how to react. Either way, these pilots and everybody on their fucking helicopter were fucking dead meat. So we're letting the pilots know right off the bat, you're dead. They're waving at us. Fuck you. We're shooting back at them. So these helicopters, they're landing in this fucking open field, and all of a sudden off to my right, the M60 machine guns going pop, 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 pop. And it's just a fucking crossfire. And from where we're at, we're lighting them up. And as they're jumping off this helicopters like an infantry assault, they're getting lit up. And all these beep, 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 beeps are going off like fucking crazy. And a couple of them made it to us, and we shot them up, and they started beeping up. I'd just lay on the ground. I'd get as close as anytime I ever wore that Miles gear, I never, ever fucking got shot one time. That was neat. It was like a massacre. It was a massacre. The helicopters that all landed there would have never made it out, and everybody that got off those helicopters, they would have never survived it. Whether or not anybody had learned from that malfunction, you know, that's that. Sometimes helicopters, they ain't just Hueys, but the UH1H and others, would occasionally fall out of the sky and break, and sometimes you'd have to go spend the night one in garden, and they'd put you out in the middle of a field in the middle of nowhere, guarding a fucking helicopter with no gun. So one night, a little UH1H, a little two-seater thing you'd see in match, I had to spend the night with this thing all by my fucking lonesome. I think I did 12 hours out in the field by myself, guarding a fucking helicopter. One day, we got to help the 101st Airborne. They were also on our post, and they were kind of an assault helicopter group, and they'd load missiles and bombs and fucking Apaches and Cobras and shit. And I got to sit there and watch these people with the Gatling guns and rockets just light up a fucking zip, boom, shit blowing up left and fucking right. So there's some fun to it, but then again, too, these things do wreck and people do die in them. I think there's one tragic story in Iraq where they did this night assault. It was the 2nd Infantry Division, and there was two brothers. They get on a Crash Hawk. One brother survives, but the Crash Hawk crashed and killed the other brother. And all they were trying to do was extract them after, during the night in Iraq. And, shit happens. We did things called sling loads. And then trying to do a sling load in the dark with little flashlights, trying to help the pilots. It's like, fuck this shit, it ain't working. They're blinding you with a big spotlight, and I'm on the ground with two little bitty dinky flashlights with some cones on it, trying to get this shit sling loaded, and it did not work. So I want to finish out. I've been telling some stories as I remember, and I got a couple more, and then I'll finish this out. Law Rocket, we went up to Anti-Tank Day one day, and I don't remember much about it. We did a big long march. A lot of people were falling out. I carried some gear for 1st Platoon out of the generosity of my heart, make them look bad. And I remember before I go in the Army, this combat engineer gave me this book, combat engineer book, and part of it was this Law Rocket. You hold this tube and you split it out like that, and then you do that. So I figure I know all about this Law Rocket. So when I got to the Law Rocket range, I couldn't get the fucking thing to come apart, and this sergeant's looking at me like I'm a fucking nutcase. You fucking pussy, get that goddamn thing out there. Finally got it. They had a couple tanks out there. I remember we got to crawl around, I think, inside like an old Patton, and then there was like a T-55, maybe. It was an old Russian tank that we got to crawl inside. American tanks were bigger, the Russian tank was smaller, and that's really all I know. And then I think the M203. I never got to shoot at M203. I never even got to hump it. I got one day of training. It was a rainy September day. It was raining, everybody's kind of nodding off, and I got to shoot a couple practice rounds out there, and that was it. And I remember being back at the barracks that night, hungry as fuck. It was September, it was dark, it was cold. We'd been rained on all day. That was all my experience with an M203. Once we got to the Rucker, I got to fire a Law Rocket one time. I blew up a tree instead of a bunker. The tree went up, it came down, and I got to fire a Claymore mine and start a forest fire with one. Just clap, boom, forest fire. So I want to finish now with an unrelated topic, a mineral oil party. Now, for those of you that don't know what mineral oil is, it's supposed to be a laxative. If you can spike somebody's drink with it you don't like, it's supposed to cause massive fucking diarrhea and shits all night long. You get the idea. So, it's our roommate's birthday, the one that ratted everybody out, the one that gets thrown around. Well, either way, it's his birthday, and we're going to be nice, and we're going to throw him a mineral oil party. So we spiked the juice and all this other shit, and he catches on after that first sip, and that something quite ain't right here. All of a sudden, now the barracks floor has to be waxed. You take some, like, this carnauba wax, you light it on fire and you drip, and then you buffet this fucking shit out. Well, we got mineral oil all over our barracks. The second floor in our barracks, there's mineral oil all over the goddamn place. So guess what we did Sunday? You ever heard of a GI party? Well, that's where everybody gets together and you're scrubbing and cleaning until this thing is just immaculate clean, to where the Virgin Mary herself would be proud to come in and take a dump on those toilets and walk those halls. So now there's mineral oil all over the goddamn hallways. It fucked up the wax floor, so we had to go on Sunday, all day Sunday, with the buffers. First thing we had to do was strip the floor bare. Needed it anyway, because after you get a few layers of wax, you have to fucking strip this shit. Then get your carnauba wax. I forgot what it would come in a yellow can. You light the shit on fire and spoon, you drip it, and then you fucking buff it out to a high shine. And we spent a whole day doing a GI party cleaning up after a mineral oil disaster. You'll learn about, here's another thing the recruiter will not tell you about, is the buffer. Yeah, you're gonna learn how to use a buffer in basic training, not to the extreme circumstance that you do once you get to your nice, shiny, pretty barracks with the fucking floor. Oh, and after you get this thing super waxed, it's got the fucking shine. You can reflect off everybody in their socks walks on the edge of the hallway. You don't walk down the middle of that motherfucker till after the inspection the next day, because when the officer squid, whoever the fuck's gonna do the barracks inspection, want to make sure that floor's nice and shiny and your room's nice and fucking tidy. I used to hate that shit. They come in a room and, you know, if you have a little beer sticker on your locker, take that shit off, and then they open up the fridge. There's nothing in here but beer. Well, what the fuck? We can't smoke weed, so we got to drink beer, homie. Oh yeah, sometimes they force you to paint your fucking room. You're gonna spend a whole day painting a room. They gave us this dark blue room. They called it paint, and they called our room the Darth Vader room for a while. Then we had to repaint it again, a lighter shade of blue or whatever the fuck. So I thought, yeah, the little thing with the thing that was laying on my floor, and I don't know how many times I think of that, and I always think about that scene of Apocalypse Now where Martin Sheen's laying there, what is that, Major Willard, Captain Willard, whatever his name was, looking at that little fan going, Clinton, shit, I'm still here. I turned 60 next month. Nothing but flashbacks of peacetime army. How fucking lame I am. Shit, how pathetic I've become. An alcoholic, a junkie, a druggie from the army. So I think I'm done. I don't know how much time I've blown here. I've been sharing some stories. I thought here's a couple interesting ones through in a movie clip type thing. So horn salute, hit the like and subscribe. And if I can come up with some more shit, I might. I don't know. It is what it is. Thanks for watching.